Good morning. This is Anna Patterson with the North Carolina Housing Coalition. Thank you for joining us this morning for our housing call. And without further ado, I will turn it over to our Director of Housing Policy, Stephanie Watkins-Cruz.
Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are having a great week so far. We're going to go ahead and kick it off with organizational updates. Just a reminder that our early bird registration for the North Carolina Housing Conference, which is taking place September 5th through the 6th this year, closes this Friday, August 9th. So that's early bird registration. So make sure that you register. Nominations are also still open, so we decided to extend the nomination deadline for our 2024 North Carolina Housing Coalition Awards. As many of you know, each year we recognize housing advocates from across the state at our annual breakfast that is held during the North Carolina Affordable Housing Conference. If you or someone you know has gone above and beyond to advocate for affordable housing in North Carolina, make sure to nominate them today. The deadline to submit is also this Friday, August 9th. And also, don't forget, this is a busy week. This Thursday, we are hosting a mid-year housing policy update. It will be via Zoom. So this Thursday, August 8th, from 10 to 11:30 a.m., you can register by clicking the link in the call notes. And we will be talking about a bit of the things that we've noticed and observed over the last few months, as well as the legislative session, things that we are looking forward to and thinking about as we prepare for the next legislative session. So we really hope that you all choose to join us and look forward to the event. Moving on to federal updates. So the Tax Relief for American Families and Workers Act of 2024 that had two key provisions from the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act in it did not pass the Senate last week when it came up for a vote on Thursday. However, we did find out that the reasons for it not passing were not tied to the affordable housing provisions in the bill. And really, this just further makes the case for the major opportunity that we have coming up with what has been called this tax policy Super Bowl. So there are several tax cuts that are actually expiring in 2025, and the House and Ways and Means Committee has created these teams. So there is a community development and housing team that is looking at affordable housing as one of its issues. So from now until October 15th, we are calling for folks to sign letters, submit letters to this committee to really advocate and push for strengthening the housing credit in this tax policy Super Bowl, because it's an opportunity to really use this opening in tax policy to strengthen our housing tax credit. So in your letter, we really encourage that you describe the importance of what the low-income housing tax credit is for your work, for your community, what supporting the various provisions of the Affordable Housing Credit Improvement Act would look like, and how it might help those you serve if the housing credit were strengthened. You can submit your letter in a few different ways. You can submit it through a form that we have in our call notes for you and that we'll be sending out in our newsletter. We won't change anything if you do it through this form. The committee will still see the letter as coming for you or your organization. If you do it this way, please make sure to place your letter on company letterhead and make sure to enter your contact information correctly. You can also email your letter directly to Republican tax teams at mail.house.gov. And there are instructions that will also link in the call notes for you as well. But just a heads up, letters with incomplete information will not be accepted. And we have more details about this campaign in the call notes for you. Senators Elizabeth Warren, Raphael Warnock, and Representative Emanuel Cleaver introduced the American Housing and Economic Mobility Act last week in the House and the Senate. The bills call for large-scale investments to affordable units over the next 10 years. And an independent analysis by Moody's Analytics projects that the bill's investments would produce about 3 million units of affordable housing and bring down rents for low and middle income families by about 10%. So we have a summary of this projection linked in the call notes for you so that you can check out that analysis. Moving on to state and local updates. So there were 3 vetoes that were overridden last week in the House. They overrode 3 of Governor Cooper's vetoes, including one that is going to preempt local government's authority to enact source of income protections at the local level. This is quite unfortunate. Without the source of income protections, landlords are not legally required to accept housing vouchers. All current source of income protections at the local level will still be protected, though, if they are tied to housing financed in part by public dollars. So I'll say that again. If the housing is financed in part by public dollars, there is still the ability to have source of income protection at the local level on those properties in particular. The Corporation for Supportive Housing, or CSH, and its partners at the Council of State of Governments Justice Center are actually accepting applications for the next Zero Returns to Homelessness cohort. The applications are due by 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on August 12th. This cohort is a multi-agency effort that's really designed to support states and communities as they work to prevent and end homelessness for people returning from incarceration. The Zero Returns to Homelessness cohort will provide up to 6 state teams with extensive and free technical assistance support that focuses on solidifying long-term reentry housing plans, leveraging community leaders and resources, collaboration across state and local systems, as well as achieving a real concrete expansion in the amount of housing available to people in reentry. They're looking for applicants that have established or emerging system-level partnerships across the criminal justice, housing, homeless, and behavioral health systems in order to join a national cohort of state teams. So again, the deadline for these applications are 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, August 12th. We have various links in the call notes for you to find out more information. The state of North Carolina is currently seeking comments on the Recovery Housing Program and a substantial amendment for fiscal year 2024, as well as the performance report for 2023. Just a reminder that the Recovery Housing Program, or the RHP, is a pilot program that provides formula grant funds to assist individuals in recovery from a substance use disorder with stable, transitional housing while on the path to self-sufficiency. So comments will be accepted through August 13th, and all the details on where to either send a physical letter or an email will be in the call notes for you. Moving on to local updates. In an expected vote, Asheville has dissolved its Homelessness Initiative Advisory Committee Board in late July, as they are going through sort of a consolidation and restructuring through the new Asheville-Buncombe Continuum of Care, which is really trying to heavily emphasize collaboration and community input. And this decision to restructure really came from recommendations solicited, so they asked for recommendations from the National Alliance to End Homelessness. Their number one priority recommendation was to move the board out from under city and county government, which comes with its own sort of requirements. And the new COC Continuum of Care is composed of over 330 individual and organizational members with an interest in better understanding and addressing homelessness, and a board elected by the members. The Durham Community Land Trust was recently named as one of 9 finalists for a grant to support Latino home ownership. The Land Trust was awarded over $75,000 for their project proposal, Eco Grace Durham. This project will begin in about mid-2025 and will consist of 7 4-bedroom homes in Durham's Southside, Hayti, and East Durham neighborhoods. And on the coast, Dare and Hyde counties continue to move forward to build more teacher housing units. The Outer Banks Community Foundation recently funded 2 projects to help the Hyde and Dare County school systems recruit and retain teachers through affordable housing. On Ocracoke Island, the Hyde County Education Foundation is renovating a former daycare site into apartments for about 10 teachers. And the Dare Education Foundation, which has successfully built about 36 affordable units for teachers, plans to add an additional 8 units. Even so, the Dare Education Foundation says that the wait list for teacher housing at any given time is well over 30 people. And both projects are also funded by an interest-free loan program for teacher housing through the State Employees Credit Union. Another great example of what is public-private partnership, not only between the local governments, the school board, a foundation, so you have the philanthropy mix in there, but also a lender. Moving on to events this Friday, the Land of Sky Regional Council is hosting their 2nd annual Western North Carolina Regional Housing Forum from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in Flat Rock, North Carolina. So I hope you will join us. I will be there, and we will be giving a policy update. Join us for a day with various discussions and networking opportunities that focus on housing in the Western North Carolina region. Registration is only $20, so make sure to click the link in the call notes to find out more. There's also going to be a great webinar today at 1 p.m. on the state of homelessness, a path forward, hosted by the National Alliance to End Homelessness. So today at 1 p.m. there'll be a webinar hosted by the National Alliance to End Homelessness on the state of homelessness and what the path forward looks like. On August 14th, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, or HUD, will be hosting a webinar from 1 to 2 p.m. on building trust with communities and local governments. And then we wanted to highlight an event that happens the second day right after we finish our conference on September 5th and 6th. On the 6th, the second annual North Carolina Women in Affordable Housing Network Luncheon will be happening from 1 to 2:30 p.m. at the Diddy Space in downtown Raleigh. So this is just a great opportunity to connect working women in affordable housing from across the state, and they'll be able to have just a time to fellowship, and we'll be able to hear Wake County Board of Commissioners Chair Shanika Thomas as the keynote speaker this year. Moving on to reports and resources, the National Alliance to End Homelessness has released their State of Homelessness 2024 edition report, and the Center for American Progress has released a report looking at what reducing housing burdens looks like while also creating a longer-term affordable housing solution. The Department of Housing and Urban Development has produced an affordable housing implementation guide that looks at what creating a public funding strategy looks like in order to maximize housing production. So we're seeing a lot of these, again, that partnerships, the intersecting of various funds from different sources is very common and pretty effective. This guide includes a 6-step process for the development of coordinated public funding for affordable housing in particular, and it gives some really good practical steps on what bringing together public resources and stakeholder perspectives can look like in order to eliminate barriers to affordable housing development and really expand the pool of options of affordable housing developers. That's all we have for today. I hope you all have a great rest of your week. A friendly reminder, if you haven't already registered for our webinar, make sure you do so. It's August 8th. If you register and then you're not able to attend, don't worry. There will be a recording. But as always, feel free to reach out if you need anything or want us to talk about anything in particular. And we will talk to you next time.